Chemistry has its own unique way of communicating ideas. Learning this language of chemistry is the key to understanding how the world works at its most basic level. It's like cracking a code that unlocks the secrets of materials, medicines, and even life itself. Using this, we can predict how substances will behave and even design new materials as well. Hi learner! Welcome to Chemistry Courses. And let us explore some fundamentals of chemistry symbols and formulae. What do they mean? Think of where you might have seen these symbols outside of the classroom. Chemistry symbols and formulas are all around us in the real world, though you might not always realize it. Here are some everyday examples. Baking soda, table salt, sugar, water, glucose, list just goes on. Today, you will 1. Represent elements using chemical symbols. 2. Understand the basics of IUPAC nomenclature in naming compounds. 3. Use chemical formulae to represent compounds. Also, I bet you don't know that Swedish scientist Jöns Jacob Berzelius introduced the modern system of chemical symbols. He represented the elements using one or two letters from their Latin names. Alright, back to topic. Let us understand what are chemical symbols. These are shorthand ways to represent elements in chemistry. Here's an example of sodium. Each symbol is made up of one or two letters. So for sodium, whose Latin name is natrium, gets symbol as Na. Remember, always capitalize the first letter. Recall that an element cannot be broken down into simpler substances. Importance of chemical symbols. They provide standardized ways of representing elements, making communicating information about elements and compounds easier. They offer a concise and simple way to represent elements in chemical equations, eliminating the need to spell each element's name. Here are some common chemical symbols you might encounter. Hydrogen, it is derived from the Greek hydro and genes, which means water forming. It is the most abundant element in the universe. Oxygen, its name comes from the Greek oxy and genes, which means acid forming. Also, it is essential for life. Carbon, this is derived from the Latin carbo, meaning charcoal, and is found in all known life forms. Nitrogen, it comes from the Greek nitron and genes, meaning niter, forming a colorless or white crystalline compound. It also constitutes about 78% of Earth's atmosphere. Sodium, it is derived from the Latin natrium. This is a soft metal that easily tarnishes, that is, it becomes dull on surface when exposed to air. Chlorine, its name is derived from the Greek chloros, which means greenish-yellow. It is also widely used in disinfectants and cleaning products. Quiz time! Symbol Scrabble. How many elements can you recognize from the chemical symbols below? Name as many as you can with the help of your peer. Elements are often named based on their characteristics, the substances they were extracted from, how they were found, mythological beings, locations, or notable individuals. The periodic table of elements. There are 118 chemical elements listed in the periodic table in a specific order. Rules on how to name new elements in the periodic table are set up by the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, IUPAC. The role of IUPAC. IUPAC is responsible for establishing unambiguous and consistent naming systems, also known as nomenclature and terminology. It has a system for naming chemical compounds that provides a standard language for scientists worldwide. How do we name compounds? A compound is a substance containing two or more elements that are chemically bonded. A chemical formula is an expression showing the elements in a compound and their relative proportions. It contains a combination of chemical symbols and numbers. Consider example of carbon dioxide CO2. Check out in the molecular diagram shown, each molecule consists of one carbon, C, atom bonded to two oxygen, O, atoms. The chemical formula, CO2, tells you the exact ratio of these atoms, one carbon atom for every two oxygen atoms. Hence the subscript 2 represents two oxygen atoms. How do we name ionic compounds? An ionic compound is composed of a metal and nonmetal. Some of the basic rules when naming ionic compounds include: 1. A metal will always come first in a chemical formula, followed by a nonmetal. Example, sodium chloride, NaCl. 2. An ionic compound with two elements will have a name that ends with I. Example, copper sulfide, CuS. 3. A compound with three elements, including oxygen, will have a name that ends with ate or ite. Example, sodium sulfate, NaSO4. How do we name covalent compounds? A covalent compound has two or more nonmetals. Some of the general rules when naming covalent compounds are: 1. The nonmetal furthest to the left on the periodic table comes first. Example, carbon dioxide, CO2. 2. A covalent compound with two elements will have a name that ends with I. Example, sulfur dioxide, SO2. 3. Use the prefixes mono-, di-, tri-, tetra to indicate the number of that element in the molecule. Example, carbon tetrachloride, CCl4. However, remember that many covalent compounds have common names that are widely accepted. Some of them are water, H2O, ammonia, NH3, methane, CH4. Do try this chemistry name game. Identify the correct chemical formulae for the following compounds. Don't forget to post your answer in the comments section below. Interested to learn more, contact us for online tuitions/classes. Follow asvathi.in and atharvanava.com for more content. Let's meet in the next topic. Happy learning!